What's up, insiders? How we doing today? I don't know if this is working or not. I've got this muted. Looks like it's working. How we doing? Daniel, Barry, Sports Highlights, Nathan, Drums. There's the love of my life, TSI Allison. And we got Zachary McNally, 25 Leafs. How's it going? And Stefan. Stefan, how you doing, my man? Good to see you, Stefan. All right, so the TFC game is going to start up in just a few minutes. I am just getting signed into it. Whoa, hello, AI camera. Stop that bot. Amazon. Interesting new camera we're testing out this evening for the TFC game. Pickleball Pat, how you doing, brother? Let's get in there. Let's have some fun. Let's chat it up. Let's start an amazing Toronto FC community here on TSI, and I'm going to play with the tech because this is way too close up on my face. TFC! 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 Let's go! There it is.
Presented by RBC Wealth Management, proud partner of Major League Soccer. Orlando stung by the Union a week ago. Toronto rebuilding again. Major League Soccer, live from Florida, coming up on Apple TV.
Okay, you got us.
I'm thinking of buying a house.
A house? By yourself? Are you sure? I don't know anyone that owns a house.
Yeah, girl. I mean, it's a big commitment.
Hey, if you can make it work.
I got this.
Nice one. Wait! Man on! Every time, man. Alright, coach, put me on, man. I'm sick of this. Stand it. Onyedi! Boss, man, I'm turned up right now, though. Oh, you're violent, man, honestly.
Onyedi, chin up, bro. Come on, man. You got a goal with me, man. The left back's gaps. Come on.
Onyedi, yeah, that should be me up there, man.
Come on, bro. You know he's a baller, man. Oh, that's a ball. Go on, then. Yeah!
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you taking more time off or putting more time in. They could mean more peace and quiet or more fun and games. Ideas you can drive or that drive you. From settling in to living it up, what ideas will you bring to life? No more with RBC Wealth Management.
Sunday Night Soccer on Apple TV. It's a festive, celebratory atmosphere.
Se nos viene un partido lleno de emociones, la hinchada bien prendida.
And Houston at the back post.
Leo de cabeza,
Big game feel.
se acerca la hora de la verdad.
It's a party right now on Sunday Night Soccer.
Ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Red Bull New York versus New York City.
MLS. This is our soccer. Game on.
And my party of three.
you're with Amex Platinum, exclusive dining benefits and travel perks like room upgrades at fine hotels and resorts.
Wow.
Make going out for your favorite food take on a whole new meaning. That's the powerful backing of American Express.
I need your arms around me. I need to feel your touch.
Baby, I'm tired of waiting. Go recharge your batteries, come back to me and make your mama proud.
I need your arms around me. I need to feel your touch, and I really wanna talk.
All right, Insiders, we've got a second here until they get started, so I wanted to give you guys the starting lineups. Stefan, my man, volume. Yeah, I'm working on it, buddy. I got to get it up. It's long story. All right, there the cat is hanging out with us. They're just getting started. TFC starting 11, Sean Johnson in goal, Henry Wingo, Kevin Long, Theo Corbino, Federico Bernardeschi, Alonso Coelho in the midfield, Sigurd Rosted in center back, Davy Flores, Jonathan Osorio, our captain, Oso, Richie Larea, and Marcus Simoranich. All right, let's get to the MLS broadcast. I'm going to work on the volume, getting this thing higher, and appreciate you, Bailey, for hanging out with us. I understand that. I couldn't afford this stuff for a long time. Long time, and I love hanging out with all you guys and having a place during the game. Cheers. Go TFC, go. Let's get the early lead in this one, TFC.
Orlando. As for TFC, well, it was big moments for the likes of Simoranich last week. A big debut for Pasalic. 2 goals on debut, supporting that man, Ramiro Enrique. Corbino still looking to get off the mark for TFC. The engine room there with Davy Flores. 2 teams winless on the opening day, and 2 teams for which 2 goals weren't enough for 3 points. Final moments to take a breath, to consider the challenge ahead, the 90 minutes. Both teams seeking 3 points. Under the lights in Orlando tonight. And away we go, week 2, offering up a chance for win number 1 for both of these sides. TFC playing from right to left. The visitors all in white tonight. It's the purple, the familiar home shirts of Orlando City FC. Inside a playoff team last year, the other floundered somewhat in the end, came up short. Certainly if one is rebuilding, the other is looking to build on the success they've had in recent times. And TFC, like so many Ontarians, escaping the snow up north for the winter sun in Florida. Continuing that transition under Robin Fraser. Orlando are trying to buck the trend, really, of being labelled slow starters. Always quick out of the blocks with me alongside him. Ross Smith, good evening.
Much like me, it's all about correcting after your last performance, and that's what Orlando will be looking to do. Being cleaner on the ball, not giving away silly mistakes. And for them, building on that confidence, and Pasalic will be a big part of it. Big new signing, scored 2 goals in his debut. Want to get him as involved as possible early on. For Toronto FC, for Orlando, about correcting, they're about building. It was a solid performance last week, and in this formation, a back 3 or back 5 under Robin Fraser, how quickly do they settle into this game in their shape and then start to commit numbers forward as they start to secure the ball, start to secure more confidence in what they're doing?
saw the weather conditions. Perfect night for soccer here in Orlando. Temperature just dipping down now below 70 degrees. Very different from what Toronto are dealing with week to week in training. They're still training indoors with a fair bit of snow still on the ground north of the border. So Wingo to take the throw in from the far side.
Down that side, it's going to be really interesting, Tony, to watch the battle between Wingo and Larea, with Santos coming down that left-hand side and this man on the ball, Angulo.
Angulo looking for Pasalic, who made such an impression on debut last week.
So in those wing-back areas, and then over on the right-hand side, Pasalic and Freeman. Freeman, the youngster, getting his first start. A lot of excitement around him and what he can offer, not only individually, but with the man one step ahead of him in Pasalic. And so for Toronto, how do they deal with him? Zimmerman-Sick had a decent debut, some ups and downs, admitted by Robin Fraser, but that's expected from a youngster. But him and Ralsted, how do they handle those two flyers for Orlando?
Right to the lineups across the bottom of the screen. There it is, the familiar 4-2-3-1 from Oscar Pareja. But not terribly familiar in the centre-half's position. Schlegel partnering Kyle Smith. Here's Wingo. And now Bernardeschi.
There you see Wingo, that's the right side of your centre-back, your three. How aggressive he is getting forward. He put in the ball for the first goal for Toronto against DC United. And Robin Fraser, he talked about in terms of principles of play, that's everything that we've been working on in his short time in pre-season, being able then to be aggressive, be confident, get numbers in the attack at the right times.
Just remember, he's the 15th coach in TFC history. He's not had that long to work with this group. Came in almost mid-January.
I thought it was interesting when he asked, well, what do you want to see this time around in Toronto? Remember, he was assistant under Greg Vanny and Tim Bezbachenko, all the success that Toronto had 2015, 16, 17. He said, well, that character. So what I've seen early on is that the character remains of this group of players, that they want to succeed and they're together. We've heard a different story the last couple of years.
Freeman cutting inside, running into a white wall, and will be brought away with the help of Osorio, who had that landmark goal last week. 13 seasons, goal in each season. It was his 250th start in MLS last week as well. He marked it with a goal in DC. And one of those that Robin Fraser knows well, as he wants to bring that culture back, bring that atmosphere back that was there, well, almost a decade ago now.
I think Osorio is as important as he is on the pitch. He is in the locker room as well, making sure that the right things are being said in the locker room. He's that extension of Robin Fraser's voice.
Win probability shows you it would be an upset if TFC were to win here. But they did last year. Left it late to do so. Each winner is on the bench for them tonight, Tyrese Spicer. Pasalic, Enrique, and Tuesta. Enrique continues to get the nod up front. Luis Muriel is on the bench. Freeman's made a good run. We saw him do this a couple of times last week. Delivers the cross, turned behind. Would have been the game's first corner, but in fact we have an offside flag up on the near side of the field, and it'll be a free kick.
It's a massive vote of confidence for Freeman, selected over Thorolson, who's made his way to the bench, and it's because what the youngster showed when he came on. Freeman does go slightly early, but he was very positive, he was brave, wanted to get to that byline and get crosses in, and now with him matched up with Pasalic, they present a big problem for Toronto potentially.
Weapons for that man to deploy. Oscar Pareja wants to avoid another slow start. He said his recipe is to certainly win every game. There's no master plan, this slow out of the blocks feeling.
missing two massive pieces, and Robin Janssen, who was injured in the warm-up last week. I don't think it can be overstated how much he means to this team. For me, Tony is the best ball-playing center-back in this league on his day. A phenomenal left foot, but then Wilder Cartagena, injured in pre-season. You're missing that grit. You're missing that street fight character about this team that has defined them over the last few years. So what does Edward Atuesta bring? Well, that's not him. He'll put a foot in, but it doesn't stand out as his #1 quality. He's better known for being on the ball. So when you don't have those two horrible sitting center midfielders in Avarujo and Wilder Cartagena to come up against, they're not as big a worry for opposition.
A couple of key parts of the spine missing, really. New pieces coming in to adjust. It's a nice turn from Simamancic, but then he overran it a bit. And Freeman. This is Flores.
Good stuff from Rosted, though. He's going to have to be smart with Long when they step, when they go in, and when they worry about that space in behind, because Enrique up front for Orlando, he's there to go and stretch. Just wondered whether Muriel made his way to the bench, would get a start tonight, but I think what Oscar Pereira needs is that ability to stretch it behind with Enrique.
Options more limited for Oscar Pereira at the moment. Talking about injuries with Cartagena, of course, gone for the season. Janssen's out with a thigh injury tonight. Brecalo came in late last week. He's out with a shoulder injury tonight. Talking to shoulders, probably the most famous shoulder in Orlando is that belonging to Duncan Maguire. And the striker who got injured in that memorable playoff game here against Charlotte last season, winning the penalty that ultimately saved their season. Took the third game of their playoff series against Charlotte to penalties and they would win. Of course, he had shoulder surgery in the off-season. He is back in training. Oscar Pereira keen to stress that this week.
Well, we were covering
non-contact at the moment,
though. We were covering that match, Tony, against Charlotte, and was a penalty. It was one, though, a tug of the shirt. Duncan Maguire, I thought another day, maybe on the practice pitches, he's staying on his feet. And he went to ground a little bit too easily, but the way he fell, obviously, caused him a lot of harm.
Flores keeping Atuesta at bay, and that's pinned out, looking for Bernardeschi, a little bit strong for the Italian. Robin Fraser, the new man in charge this season, vastly experienced, of course, in MLS, declared himself quite pleased with last week's draw in DC, particularly bearing in mind he really feels like he's still getting to know his players, understand them. He's got
such a huge amount of respect around the league, and highly touted for this job once it became available, given his past experience and given his own coaching success that he's had. And at Colorado, I know things didn't work out in the end, but when he initially went in there, how he was changing things around, and what you would say, did he have the players at Colorado to really put in the philosophy and style of how he wanted to play? One thing that stands out about Robin Fraser, that he's no frills, that he's not going to give you just a headline to go and say. He doesn't say things for the sake of saying them. Everything that comes out of his mouth, there's a lot of thought given to it, and I think that's well respected by players.
Here come his side now. Simamancic, Freeman there. The throw will go TFC's way through Simamancic, exchanging passes with Corbeau. Back in a Toronto shirt, having left Ontario as a teenager. And here's Larrea's cross into the box. He came back off the defender, and it will be a corner, the first of the game, and for the visiting TFC.
Very free move in Toronto when they get forward, and Richie Larrea, he'll tuck inside. He's that wing back, but he'll come inside and allow that space for Bernardeschi to go out wide. It's Bernardeschi's sweet spot, not final third, just peeling out, being able to run at defenders.
Well, before they'll take the corner, you can see Larrea's down. Those pacey runs. In fact, he was clocked as the second fastest player in the league last week. 22.1 miles per hour. That's 35 kilometers an hour for our friends north of the border. But this will be a worrying moment for Robin Fraser, and he's got Neil Emblem, who was with him in Colorado. Moving up to Toronto with him. Stephen Badeshaw as well, of course, he was part of that great team. They won't want to lose a player of Laraya's experience so early.
It's always a good sign. There's a few great shots of Toronto FC players just chatting with each other when they have the moment. Bit of a breath just now, and that's relaying instructions, players taking responsibility to figure things out. When you see that, it's always gives you the idea, the insight, that there's clear ideas of how to play, and it's older players then passing that information on to younger ones. Here we see with Richie Laraya, does he overstretch? Doesn't look to be any contact. For Toronto's sake, they're hoping that it's just a little twinge.
Because that was treatment on the field. Of course, the off-field treatment rule comes into effect. So Laraya's out for a couple of minutes. TFC with the game's first corner while playing with 10 men. Swung in near post, that's Ramiro Enrique to clear it away. Striker back defending as Bernardeschi comes again, and once again it's Enrique to clear.
That was an important touch as well. The white kits, they remain forward.
And they're still forward, and Bernardeschi will have another go. This time Rafael Santos with the clearance.
That ball from Corbino almost needed to be on the left foot of Bernardeschi so he could hit the curler first time. It was overhit. Bernardeschi had the cross with his right. Be interesting to see if Corbino and Bernardeschi can combine a little bit more than what you saw in DC United. Last week, it was almost as though those two were playing individual games. Bernardeschi would go out wide right, Corbino wide left. Very little in terms of linking up.
Got about another 50 seconds or so before Laraya can come back on. And so known for hockey, Toronto almost up against a bit of a power play at the moment.
Corbino just sitting in a little bit more because of that.
Here's the ball deep into the box, and arriving was Freeman, showing all the adventurism and the talent that has got him in a starting position in the team.
Well, right where Richie Laraya would be helping to look after, that's where Orlando then go and find the space. That's a great ball from Oeda. But give credit at that back stick, Zimmerman stick. He's looking after Freeman coming forward. That's going to be a good battle between the two youngsters. I think we're going to see more of Freeman getting forward. So Zimmerman stick, can he be disciplined in dealing with them?
Through 15 minutes. Last few seconds before Laraya can come back on. The referee, Alexis de Silva, waves him on. So a full complement for Toronto now. Goalless through 15.5 minutes. 30-year-old Richie Laraya back on the field, and a boost for all concerned on the TFC side. That'll be a free kick. Player Spotlight is presented by Allstate. You're in good hands. We're looking at Ivan Angulo, who tonight is actually making his 100th appearance in all competitions for Orlando. Talked to Oscar Pereira about him this week, and Oscar is continuing to drive for improvement, always getting better. He said, I am demanding more from him. What he does get is a very reliable, consistent starter on that side of the field. He's a virtual ever-present now, last couple of years, Angulo.
A big attribute for any manager is he always makes himself available. He's not injured. 87 consecutive starts between regular season play and playoffs. We see Freeman and Rosted, not a lot in it. The referee helps him out.
Is this the start you kind of expected? TFC are on the road. They got a point last week. They're just finding their feet. Orlando, of course, shocked somewhat.
Well,
Seeded 4.
Yeah, Orlando look like a team stabilizing right now and just trying to find their feet again and to be mistake-free, whereas Toronto, they've started the better of the two teams, feeling their way into it.
Corbinot's cross, and it's nearly a moment to forget. On his first start for Alex Freeman, he sent Gillespie diving to his left to make the save. Just enough cushion on the chest.
It's Corbinot. He's just trying to put it into an area, hoping that a teammate would be there. He's running out of room. Same with Freeman, that was quite calm from him. Gillespie, I think, realized that there wasn't a Toronto player there. He was scrambling across. He could have been a little bit more calm himself.
So that's Gillespie's first save of the season from one of his own players.
Well, I think that shows you as well. Gillespie wasn't at his best last week. The second goal, you could point to him, you could point to Santos at the back stick. Not doing better to Mark Gazdag for Philadelphia Union. So that's a little sign of some nerves from Gillespie. He didn't need to scramble across like he did. That was actually the right play from Freeman.
We've got two very experienced goalkeepers here tonight. 71 years between them. 35-year-old Pedro Gillespie, 35 last weekend, and 36-year-old Sean Johnson at the other end of the field.
Don't use that stat for us, Tony.
It's somewhat north of that number, I can tell you.
But for Toronto, I think they'll be really happy how they've settled into this match. They look confident, they look mature. Looks as though you have 11 players that are on the same page.
Possession numbers virtually even as we take another look at Carl Smith coming across. This is the first time that he has started in MLS play since the 5th of October. Enrique at the other end now just trying to get a yard on him. Support from Ojeda. Flores was tracking back. Here's Ojeda with Angulo outside him. Angulo, Enrique wants it. Made back for Pasalic. On that favoured left foot, cutting in. Atuesta. And now Freeman.
Orlando will want to see more of that with Ojeda and Enrique combining, starting to move about. That's when they become a big problem. They're so mobile at front four.
Atuesta lifts it in and headed away by Wingo.
It's good positioning from Wingo, though.
Yeah, looked very dangerous as that ball was first coming in. Then they come again with Freeman down the right, and Simancic has to stand tall, and he does.
That's a problem, Tony, on the first side. Just seen Larea go down again.
Yep, Larea is down again. We're going to have another stoppage, and it looks like his night is going to be over, which is a real blow for him to last only 20 minutes. Obviously gone back out and just see if he can run it off. The answer to that is no. And it could be that we're going to see a debut for Zane Monlouis for Robin Fraser's side. We'll confirm that as we wait and see whether Larea has any prospect of getting into the game. There is Monlouis. Englishman, Zane Monlouis. Just arrived, and a former England under-21 captain. Fraser has liked what he's seen of him so far in training, albeit it's been pretty limited. So Larea to come off. And from Lewisham is going to come into the game. He has 1 minute of MLS play. So this will be the first and most significant minutes of his MLS career so far. Early night for Lorea. Almost the midway point of this first half. Still waiting for the first really significant chance on goal. Bernardeschi with the flick, looking for Corbeau. Santos. Monlouis has gone straight in there to play as a third centre-back. Looks like Wingo has gone outside him and will be the wing-back, performing the role of the now departed Lorea.
A lot of talk around Monlouis and what he'll bring as attributes. Fraser saying it could potentially be a big part of this season. What he offers is athleticism, his ability to push high up the pitch as a centre-back, physical strength. And can he settle in on the ball? He's got the pedigree as well. He's got the background to go with him.
To the ranks at Arsenal. He was actually on loan at Reading in the EFL last year, and if you follow that, you'll know that Reading have been something of a crisis club, so coming to the comparative calm waters of Toronto will be no problem. Corbeau, and that shot dragged wide.
It was never going to happen for Corbeau. Off balance. It was a hit and hope.
One of our MLS 360 viewers who just joined us. That's one of the best chances we've had so far.
There's been a little bit of a filling out between the two teams. Orlando a little shaken up after last week, and it looks that way. Just trying to find their way into the game, and Toronto are okay with that. Just getting into their structure, getting the distances right, and then slowly you can see Toronto building that confidence to send numbers forward.
Rosted, the man bundled down. It's a free kick.
Toronto doing a good job not to allow Orlando to play out once they get into the front half. Long and Rosted understanding when to step forward, stay in possession.
Plenty of white shirts moving forward into the Orlando penalty area for this one. Bernardeschi with the left foot primed. See Monlouis among those in the opposition area, and tussling at the moment with Carl Smith as they prepare to watch this one swung in from a very straight angle. So what can the man with a wonderful left foot do? Good height on it. Here's Wingo. Louis has certainly arrived in MLS in the search for minutes. Often the way players come through the ranks at big clubs, they go out on loan, and he didn't see too much game time at Reading either. Another free kick here.
Well, Jonathan Osorio is doing a nice job of coming out to this left-hand side, just getting underneath Pasalic. So Osorio is not staying central where all the numbers are for Orlando. He's coming out this way, and then that's allowing Simmermansik to push on a little bit.
Bernardeschi's not going to reach that. The player comparison is presented by Celsius, pure passion and maximum energy with zero sugar. Look at the right back up against the left wing back. So in Freeman there against Simmermansik.
Coming into tonight, expected there to be a difference in terms of Freeman having more passes, being more involved on the ball than Simmermansik, who's going to have to look after Freeman. A successful night for Simmermansik will be if Freeman's being limited with his crosses in the box and affecting the play in that final third.
Corbeau.
It's the one thing for Toronto right now, is that they don't have a central figure. It's a target player. They do on the bench, but in this 11, when you see they're working the ball nicely, but there's nobody, a target player to go and whip the ball into. That's where Robert Fraser is relying on the numbers of midfield joining in, your wing backs getting involved, because they don't have that out-and-out number 9 right now on the pitch to play into.
You do have a number 9 tonight, as you mentioned. Ole Brynhildsen, man on loan from Midtjylland in Denmark, wasn't available last week, but is fit to be among the 20 tonight. Of course, DeAndre Kerr is on the bench as well, looking for a bit of a return to goal-scoring ways.
I just think Brynhildsen, he's going to be a nice complementary piece to the likes of Corbeau and Bernardeschi. He's clean, he's clever, he's someone that Bernardeschi and Corbeau can combine with. He's mobile, likes to run at the back line, but he'll stay central. Someone Toronto FC players can play off of.
Incidentally, the man who scored the winning goal here last year in the 90th minute, Prince Owusu, one of those two depart for pastures new. He didn't go far in the off-season, just up to Montreal.
It's just it. Owusu, he scored goals at the start of the season, but come summertime, they were hard to find for him. One thing you would say was a presence when he would get on the ball and run out defenders, difficult to deal with, but in terms of combination play with the Bernardeschi, wasn't quite up to speed of being technical enough.
Long through the back of Enrique.
Toronto, they've done a nice job not allowing that front for Orlando to find a rhythm. Look at how tight the spaces are. Enrique, when he comes off, that's the long track of him in. It's not allowing Enrique to turn out, but to find a pass that could quickly then take advantage of the space that Long came out from.
So Orlando players taking up offside positions. An impression of Arsenal, perhaps. Made very deep, looking for Araujo. It'll be an Orlando throw on that far side. We approach half an hour on the clock here, and a relatively serene and calm, cautious 30 minutes of football so far from both these teams. It doesn't often stay that way in this stadium, but my experiences here down the years. Right, the long throw, they go short by Enrique. Phil Santos now to try and whip the cross in. It's a good one. Little push from Atuesta, and it'll be a free kick.
He's so good, Santos, at getting a cross off. Doesn't need an awful lot of space. He can bend it round defenders. Puts it into a decent area, but again, Zimmermansik, he's looking after that back stick, and Bernardeschi's staying connected. It's well defended.
Reminder, if you want to follow all the action, all the goals, the saves, the drama, the headlines, all night long, MLS 360 is the place to be. Kevin Egan and the team, Sasha Kleshton, Bradley Wright-Phillips, Kalen Kyle, and of course the Orlando native Dax McCarty, part of the team this year, just up the road in Winter Park. The referee's going to give Orlando a free kick here in a dangerous area. That was Pasalic who was the man who went down.
Well, it looked as though initially it was a good step from Long, but Pasalic at the last second, in fact, does he get a little touch away? As Long steps in, Pasalic just a slight little touch right before that challenge comes in. And credit to the referee, because he's in a good position to make the call. It's a dangerous area. A couple players to size this up. Santos, left foot curler.
Well, the familiar Viking chance is emanating from behind the goal to our left. There's no Dagadan on the field at the moment for Orlando, but Rafael Santos Fine with his left boot.
Araujo
on the right. Doesn't score too many.
Offer a bit of power here.
Here we go. Brilliant! What a fine strike! That's a way to bring this building to life. Cesar Araujo. 1-0 Orlando.
Well, what a hit this is. This is something special from Araujo. You wondered initially, would it be the curler from Santos with his lovely left foot? But the center midfielder sets up and says, I'll look after it. It's got power, it's got the placement, it's got the whip, and just over the wall. Just slightly getting over top of that wall and kisses that post. As Sean Johnson, there's nothing the Toronto keeper can do about that. Off the post and in, what a hit.
Inch perfect for a player who only scored once last season. But he likes scoring against Toronto. That's his second career goal against his Canadian opposition. And just 2 MLS goals in his career before that. So the TFC, the opposition, he finds his goal-scoring sights. And a wonderful goal to break the deadlock and bring the game to life a little bit, Ross, because it was a bit flat until that point.
Well, he was the unlikely name to go and take the free kick, but you can understand it because Santos left-footed, Ojeda left-footed, Pasalic left-footed, and so he needed the option to have a right footer. That was it. You thought he would be the one that put his foot through it. He's not known for threading passes through the midfield and being fine with his technique. Well, he certainly got that right.
And now Freeman has got a yard on his man, and it's Freeman on his first start. What a moment! The starborn in the city beautiful. Alex Freeman's first MLS goal on his first start for the club. Two goals in 2 minutes have blown this wide open.
Well, what a ball this is from Smith, stepping in as a centre-back. Filled in for injuries along that back line. He puts it right into the path of Freeman. Gets the run on his mark. We talk about that battle back and forth between the two youngsters. Simmermansik gets wrong side, and Freeman in behind. He controls it nicely, then controls his head to be able to tuck that ball away. Takes it into the middle of the goal, so it opens up. Puts it into the back of the net. What a debut.
Young man from Plantation, Florida, near Fort Lauderdale, who joined the Orlando Academy in 2020. Doing special things on the sporting field is something that runs in the Freeman family. He's being watched tonight by his father, Antonio, who you may recall was a star wide receiver and a Super Bowl winner with the Green Bay Packers in the era of Brett Favre. Led the league, the NFL, in receiving one year as well.
I mean, they're two of the unlikely names you would expect to turn this game around as well.
Bernardeschi with the shot, that's deflected and away for a throw-in, but what a special moment. And we know that Alex Freeman's father, Antonio, is here in the crowd watching tonight, and no doubt that brought him out of his seats. In the Freeman family.
And that just gives Oscar Pereira another dimension to this team. And Thorolsen, he's He's decent at getting forward, he's got a good engine, but that's just another level. The powerness in his running.
Bernardeschi, and he'll have a go with his left foot. That's well wide, it's a goal kick. Tough moment, of course, for the 20-year-old from Kitchener, Ontario, Marcus Simancic. So the game bursting into life. And now a gap right down the middle to exploit. Pasalic trying to play it through. Of course, it's a back group now that's somewhat disjointed for Toronto, having lost Larea early. Monlouis has come in for his first significant minutes in a Toronto shirt. You need the experience of Kevin Long in there.
Well, Toronto, they showed great character against DC to come back, get a result last week. They're going to be up against it now. It'll be important for them. Can they keep their head? Can they keep their shape? Find a way to settle back in. There's a bit of a bite from Osorio into Corbeau right there. The fact that Corbeau's not central.
Say though, Ross, unlikely goal scorers in a sense. Araujo with only his third in MLS. Two of them have come against Toronto. And then Freeman, who showed signs last week that he had just that bit of zip and something special. Well, he got his starting place tonight. And his first goal. And well taken.
Well, Bernardeschi is getting frustrated now. Quickly things can turn. Lack of support, he's trying to do it all himself.
Well, they got themselves in front last week, Orlando, and then it all unraveled a bit for them against Philadelphia. Without this, probably just a part of Oscar Pereira's mind that has already turned towards thinking, right, now, clean sheet. Let's be solid. Give another look at the goal.
There's two pieces of brilliance with the goal, and first comes with Smith, stepping in as centre-back. That is some ball curling inside, but it still needs a touch, and the right touch from Freeman. And that touch there, it eliminates Simancic, and then it opens up the goal because it takes it into the central area. Big decision from the manager to sit down Thorolson and play Freeman, but he's obviously aware he's got something special on his team.
Corbeau, a break for Toronto, and he's proved to be strong, but he needs support. There's no one in the middle as he turned in field there.
There's just no central presence at all. Everybody for Toronto, they're only coming back towards the ball. They want the ball to feet. Don't have anybody who's just going to stick themselves right in the middle between the two posts and say, just put it in here.
Alex Freeman, Oscar Pereira told us how competitive he was, what a great personality he had. He was being selective over when to use him. He made the right choice to pick him tonight, didn't he?
People around the club, Tony, say that down that right-hand side, it could be one of the best partnerships they've seen at this club.
It's Freeman's header away.
It's only going to grow that relationship, Pasalic and Freeman. It works well because Pasalic with his left foot playing on the right-hand side, he does want to cut in. When he cuts in, it opens up that room, that area for Freeman to run into.
Over on that right side of the field.
That's the tough thing. It's Corbeau and Bernardeschi who Started the game as the furthest forward, and now they're dropping into midfield to combine and keep on the ball.
Church away. Here's Bernardeschi. Given a freer role this year by Robin Fraser, who doesn't want him hamstrung by having to play as a wing-back, as he so often did last year. He wants him to concentrate on doing the offensive part of the job.
It's a trying moment now for Simmermans. How does he react? Not let the game get away from him.
This exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile. And beautiful angle, Araujo smacking that one off the inside of the post and across. It was a moment actually as it went in, because it hit the inside of the post and then flew right across, the net didn't ripple for about another second, and all around the stadium there was just that split second where you think, has this gone in? And oh, it sure had. Angulo now, and that's deflected just wide off Montlouis. It'll be a corner. Off the underside of the arm.
He's wanting to get involved in the action. Angulo, he cuts in well and he strikes it sweetly as he just dips inside. Wingo, he drops off too much. On the way, a bit fortunate to get the block in because he's standing at such a distance.
44th minute, Orlando's first corner of the night. That's Wester to take it. Flores away. Santos. And they were looking for Pasalic and Araujo in there from the cross. I hated a chase.
From Robin Fraser's side, he'll be to relay to the players that we've just been outdone by two terrific moments. A free kick where Long gave away that free kick on the edge of the box. Sensational hit. And then one ball in behind. And apart from that, they haven't been pulled apart.
Final minute of the first half, there'll be some added time with the Larrea injury and a couple of goals. Here's Osorio. TFC would like to just get something in the bank to take in at half-time, but they won't do it like that. That's offside. Have had to go to their bench already. These are the team benches built by the Home Depot. We'll start with Orlando, Dagodan, Thorholson dropping down to the bench. There's a lot of youngsters on that bench tonight because of the injuries, but still the experience of the likes of Luis Muriel. Gustavo Caraballo, the Venezuelan, is on the bench as well. Comes from a good footballing pedigree. As for TFC, already dipped into the substitutes, and remember they do have Brynhildsson ready to make his debut potentially. As down goes Enrique, but no foul, says the referee. We're in 6 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Bernardeschi turning away from Santos. And here's Osorio. Last week his 250th start in Major League Soccer. He marked it with a goal, of course. They could do with one from him here tonight.
That's too slow from Toronto working the ball forward. It allows Orlando to get back in, get numbers behind the ball.
It's lovely from Angulo, but they've tracked back and won it back off him through Osorio, and now Bernardeschi. Simmermansik's made a run. This is Osorio, he's overrun it. Cleared by Schlegel, not convincingly. Angulo. Toronto have got a lot of players committed forward, and they could get caught 4-on-3 for just a moment there as the white shirts flock back. It's Freeman for Araujo, the 2 goal scorers in this opening half for Orlando City.
Passionless just having a little word with Rosted there as Rosted left one in, and now the two of them are going at it again. There's a back and forth.
Smith's ball for Freeman, a miscontrol that time. The 2 players who combined so well for the goal. This is, well, so far a good Saturday night for Orlando City. We invite you to be with us for Sunday Night Soccer, Week 2. It takes the team to Houston tomorrow night. Into Miami looking for their first win of the campaign after a draw last week. Houston yet to get a point. All the action starts from 6 Eastern. Apple TV Plus, MLS Season Pass, Sunday Night Soccer with you for Week 2.
We haven't said Wingo's name very often since he's moved out into that wing-back position. Toronto, they've missed the presence of Larea going forward.
That goes for a goal kick. And the subject of the Sunday Night Soccer, what a first week it was. How impressed were you with San Diego?
He surprised a lot of people, except everybody within San Diego. They've come in, you know, similar to how when LAFC came into the league. They didn't want that label as an expansion team. It was here and now, and that's what San Diego certainly looked like last week. And this weekend, it'll be something else. That stadium will be rocking.
San Diego at Snapdragon Stadium starting tonight, 10:30 Eastern, so that's one of the nightcap options for you tonight. St. Louis, the visitors to Southern California. That should be a good one after this game tonight. If you want to follow that, of course, MLS 360 will keep you up to date with everything. Final 2 minutes of this first half, and 2 minutes that changed the game.
The question for Orlando City, can they now go up another level? You feel as though if they go and get the third, it's game over. Right now, Toronto are very much still in this. It's difficult to see right now with Toronto how they're playing, how the goal is going to come about.
Some calmness from Montlouis. Joe won't keep it in.
Just hasn't been good enough through those areas. And that's where Bernardeschi then starts to drop in, because he wants to get on the ball, he wants to get his touches and have a say in this game.
The goals timed in the 33rd and 35th minutes. Across 2 minutes, a whole half has been impacted, and it could be more before the break as Enrique has hit the post, and the rebound.
Cheers, insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for Toronto FC and Orlando City. Jesus, there's Orlando City's second goal.
TFC
the floodgates might be opening here on the defense that started out well, then went down.
Whipped the left-footed shot in. Rebound came to Enrique. Inches away from it being 3, and real trouble for TFC. Simatic again is offside. There'll be a free kick. And with that, the referee blows his whistle. Time for us just to take a quick look at this chance just before.
Such a great turning hit from Atuesta.
Atuesta.
Just how he spins, his awareness, his body balance, quick little turn. He's going one way, turns back the other. Knows exactly where the goal is. Oh, doesn't miss by much.
He didn't miss at all. Alex Freeman, his first goal for Orlando City on his first start. That followed up A wonderful free kick from Cesar Araujo, which broke the deadlock here in Orlando. It's given TFC all sorts of problems as they head to the locker rooms at halftime. With Orlando are halfway towards a first victory of the season. They lead by 2-0. We'll have the highlights and the stats on the other side of the break.
Refresh.
Cheers, insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for Toronto FC in Orlando City. Jesus, there's Orlando City's second goal. The floodgates might be opening here on the defense. This started out well, then went down. Richie went down with the injury, and that free kick by Araujo was amazing. And now, about a minute later, Orlando doubles the advantage. It's halftime. Thank you for hanging out with us so far this evening. Please do us a favor and let's help. Let's get together and let's start the best Toronto FC community, the best MLS community out there. We're down right now, TFC fans. We know that. We are already shorthanded, essentially, coming into this game and now losing Richie Larea. It's all good. These are the early season bumps that we knew we were going to have. Robin Fraser will right the ship. I have no doubt in my mind. He will bring us back close to the glory days of 2017 when we won the treble. In 2018 when I started Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. Big shout out to SOP Soccer and True over in Leicester, England. All right, let's get back to the soccer. Come on, TFC fans. Let's fight hard in this second half. Let's keep cheering them on. Big shout outs in the chat. Danilo, Ryan, OG from the SOP days. Jeff Mitterling. Jeff, so awesome to have you hanging out with us, man. MCFC Omar says 2-0. Dominic, is it true Insigne was told that he's no longer welcome with the team? Essentially, yes. Long story. Make sure to go check out Toronto Till I Die here on YouTube. I will pin a link to that as well. And go hit the sub button over there for those guys. They have awesome content. Everything you need to know about Toronto FC. We actually did a season preview episode with Jeffrey Nesker. It never made it here to TSI. We only broadcast it on SOP, so maybe I should make a post about that. Go TFC, go! This view you see here is the season tickets. It's been a dream come true this year for me to be able to get season tickets, and you know what? We're going to be doing a lot of work with SickKids Hospital and donating those tickets to drive donations in our upcoming SickKids Bracket Mania campaign. It's going to be so much fun here on TSI in the month of March. Tell all your basketball fans, tell all your soccer fans, share this link out. Let's get a community going here, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers. Let's go, TFC. TFC till I die.
So sweetly, as though he was the main man all these years long, taking free kicks off the post and in. And this man we've been talking an awful lot about, the youngster Freeman, getting his first start. Such a good job, the timing of his run. A lovely ball from Smith in behind, but that first touch from Freeman takes him into a central area, then he keeps his head to tuck it away. You just wondered from there, well, when was the third going to come? And it almost did with that to Esther coming out of midfield. Just spins so quickly. The change in body balance is fantastic, and going for that curler, the far stick. Fortunate for Toronto, it stays at 2, because at 3, you thought the game would be done for them.
Here's the halftime numbers. Toronto have actually edged it in possession, and they've had 3 shots of their own, but they're yet to hit the target, and that's reflected in that dreadfully low XG of 0.08. 12 fouls across the first half. Alexis De Silva, the referee, has not had to go to his notebook. Just the 1 corner each but the game centering really around those two big moments in the 33rd and 35th minutes. So far, so good for Pedro Gallese and co. Bernardeschi, though, and TFC, well, they have some work to do. We'll be back in just a moment.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Oopsies. You go.
No, you go.
Oh.
Go for the handful.
Oath by Super Hydration Body Wash. The sweet scent of a honeymoon in Fiji. Moisturized with vitamin B3.
You better not be using all the Old Spice.
Ooh, can you get my bag?
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your outfit first before meeting your girlfriend's family. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Cheers, insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for Toronto FC in Orlando City. Jesus, there's Orlando City's second goal. The floodgates might be opening here on the defense. This started out well, then went down. Richie went down with the injury, and that free kick by Araujo was amazing. And now, about a minute later, Orlando doubles the advantage. It's halftime. Thank you for hanging out with us so far this evening. Please do us a favor and let's help. Let's get together and let's start the best Toronto FC community, the best MLS community out there. We're down right now, TFC fans. We know that. We're already shorthanded, essentially, coming into this game and now losing Richie Larea. It's all good. These are the early season bumps that we knew we were going to have. Robin Fraser will right the ship. I have no doubt in my mind. He will bring us back close to the glory days of 2017 when we won the treble. In 2018 when I started Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. Big shout out to SOP Soccer and True over in Leicester, England. All right, let's get back to the soccer. Come on, TFC fans. Let's fight hard in this second half. Let's keep cheering them on. Big shout-outs in the chat. Danilo, Ryan, OG from the SOP days. Jeff Mitterling.
Welcome back to the Audi halftime report. Central Florida on a beautiful evening for football. Orlando City and Toronto FC at halftime. The home side, 2 goals to the good. Take a look at what else is going on around MLS today. A number of matches kicking off at 7:30. I'll tell you that earlier on, we had an RSL 2-0 victory over Seattle. Goalless between New England and Columbus at the moment. New York Red Bulls 2-up on Nashville. And Philadelphia leads Cincinnati 2-0. The top performance is presented by Audi. And Ross, we take a look at the first half for Alex Freeman.
Well, there's a lot of excitement about the right back in his play. There he is getting forward on one side of the box, and then the calm. Gallese was more the one scrambling across where Freeman, he had everything under control. But then going back the other way, again, how powerful he is, and then he's got the touch. He's got the calm to be able to finish things off, gets himself into a good area, and then from there, just keeps his head and puts the ball in the back of the net. His first start for Orlando City, and it's going pretty perfectly.
This is Major League Performance. This is Audi, official automotive partner of Major League Soccer. And the player heat map for Alex Freeman in that first 45 minutes.
It's going to cause a lot of problems for opposition teams in those wide areas because of that engine. The ability to get up and down, and his timing, understanding when he needs to get back and suck in, but then when he can release, and we saw that change of pace he has. When he decides to go forward, it's watch out type of speed.
What a story, what a night for the Freeman family. But it's only half the job so far. Orlando carrying a 2-goal lead into the second half from Exploria Stadium, which comes next.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
He's on the run! Cool as a cucumber! Beautiful wall pass! Brilliant! Just next to defender!
Linda asistencia.
Lowe's knows what a great assist can lead to.
Make me go loco, loco. Make me go loco. Make me go loco. Go loco, loco. Make me go loco, loco.
Come seek the Royal Caribbean.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed. Like booking the right rental car. Where's the rest of it?
Did you forget we had kids?
A friendly game staying friendly. Yo, chill, Granny.
It's a bank loan.
Or being alone during alone time. Yeah, that's not guaranteed. You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, the deals you want, and the service you deserve. Or we'll make it right. That's the AT&T guarantee.
Welcome to this year's championship game. This is the big one.
With Amex Gold, you can score 4 times points on restaurants around the world. So you can raise the bar on game night. That's the powerful backing of American Express.
Welcome back to Orlando, Florida. This broadcast of MLS on Apple TV is presented by T-Mobile. Orlando 2 goals to the good at halftime as they seek a first win of the season. They were beaten in this building last week. No doubt a slightly deflating feeling for the members of the Ruckus behind the goal to our left. The supporter cam is brought to you by Lowe's. Visit Lowe's for the ultimate assist on your next project. So having seen last week, they needed to get back to winning ways. So far, so good for fans of whatever age who are in the building tonight and creating another healthy atmosphere. It is usually pretty explosive in here, Ross. And after a quiet half hour, it all came to life.
Came to life from 2 unexpected names as well. So there's real excitement around this team, the talent that they have within it. For the second half, can they go again?
Just take another chance to tell you about some scores elsewhere. Matchday live scores are presented by AT&T. We'll bring you those in a moment. There's Freeman, former MLS Next Cup winner at under 17 level in 2021. Actually made his pro debut in March 2022. And no stranger to scoring goals for Orlando City B. He had 8 goals and 9 assists. And he's in the early days of a 4-year deal with the club. Well, we're still waiting for Toronto to emerge. This is a lengthy half-time chat, it clearly seems, from Robin Fraser. The Orlando team been out now for a couple of minutes. They've done their huddle, they've got into formation, and, well, here they are, Toronto.
That would have been a big half-time talk from Robin Fraser. Again, I think a point of emphasis is you haven't been broken down, you haven't been ripped apart. Just two isolated moments where Orlando was really good. But the big thing for Toronto in this second half is that they need a central presence in front of goal. They had nobody to play into when they got the ball forward. They didn't have that figure to try and go and hit. Somebody to cause problems for the center backs. For the center backs, it was one of the easier halves that they've had for Orlando City.
Well, TFC back out and barely lined up, but the referee, Alexis De Silva, wants to get on with this. And here we go for the second 45 from Inter & Co Stadium. Orlando 2 goals to the good. It feels like a long way back for Toronto. They won 4 times on the road last year. This was one of the venues, and they won it very late.
It's interesting, there's a few times now Smith just blindly hitting that ball. Doesn't even need to look. It's the ball into Freeman. Knowing that the right back can go and get it.
No further substitutions at the break. Remember, Toronto enforced by the injury to Richie Larea in the first half to bring Zane Monlouis on for his first appearance, in a sense, aside from a 1-minute substitute appearance at DC United. And here he is now, the man from Lewisham, England.
I think Toronto will want to get this man more involved as well with Wingo. Once Richie Larea went out injured, Toronto really lost that threat. What Richie Larea had to offer, combining with Bernardeschi getting forward. Wingo just looked a little out of sorts, and that's difficult. You go from being a right-sided centre-back to all of a sudden a wing-back, and you're in a wider area. You're required to get further up the pitch more often.
Seasoned and regular Toronto observers feel that they want to see a bit more from Henry Wingo, the man from Seattle. Went across, played in Europe, played in Norway and Hungary. He was actually brought into Toronto from Ferencváros, a well-established club in the Hungarian league, in July. They were patient in bringing him in. Okay, you follow the daily news in Toronto, you feel like they need to see what clearly TFC saw in making the acquisition. And here's Monlouis on the ball for a TFC side whose win probability is at an almost non-existent 0.8% going into the second half. Lifted over the top, and out comes Johnson. He needed to be quick because Ojeda was bearing down on goal. So that's some probability for TFC to turn around, but the beauty of this game is it isn't played by the computers, and one goal would change it all if TFC could get it.
I just wonder at what point do we see Brynhilsson just come off the bench and make his debut for Toronto. Because it needs a goal-scoring threat out there. Of all the numbers you like in midfield and knocking it nicely, but at the end of the day, you need to have that threat in the box.
There's been a lot of occasions, isn't there, where there's been some reasonable approach play around the penalty area, and then you look into the box, you look into the danger zone, if you like, and there's just nothing there. As Corbeau now goes off on that run down the right, he was shadowed all the way and shackled by Angulo on his 100th Orlando appearance.
He's so good at that, Angulo, just up and down, doing the job on both sides of the ball.
Osorio, Alonso Coelho now. Here's Monlouis stepping up from the back, known to be very comfortable with the ball at feet. A ball playing centre half, we're told.
This will be difficult for Toronto if Orlando are happy enough just to sit in. They've got the 2-goal lead, so to have this low block can make it difficult for Toronto to try and break down. So it's all just side to side, and Orlando will be okay with that.
Santos intercepts the ball that was intended for Corbeau, and then that's a nice dummy and breakaway from Ojeda. Enrique wants it played in front of him. Johnson saw it all the way.
He read it really well. He was just starting to edge, wasn't he, Johnson? And as soon as Ojeda put his head down to go and cross it, that's when Johnson committed. Toronto will be thinking, though, if they can just nick one, find a way to get on goal to Gillespie, this game completely changes, and all of a sudden the thoughts of last week for Orlando would start creeping back in. Right now it's at the back part of their thoughts. Orlando looked a bit shaky to start this match, but once that goal went in from Amarujo, they were back to playing free, looking more like it up front as well.
Pass to no one, though. Only to Angulo, who brings it forward for Orlando. Tracked by Wingo and Monlouis. Corbeau. Robin Fraser was pleased with the character his group showed last week, coming from behind, getting a point. Says he's walked into a locker room that's a great group of guys. And that a group that has spirit. He said he has sometimes walked into locker rooms, he's not always seen that. So there's a culture to build on.
Look, they have some real solid pieces. Of course they do, and by the sounds of it, strong characters off the pitch as well. But at the end of the day, you do need something special. Bernardeschi can offer that. I think you need more of it, and in this league, the way it's growing, and players in the off-season, the transfer window, just continued other clubs to strengthen it. In Toronto, they need to be the standard bearer. They need to be the club that is always pushing the envelope, pushing the limits. And with that, it's bringing in star players that are going to make a difference.
I got the sense a year ago when they started the season with 7 points from 9, 3 clean sheets, they'd run through a wall for John Herdman. And then they kind of just hit the wall as the season played out.
It was difficult with injuries. Of course that is for any team. You start to get numbers going down, and all of a sudden things start to change. The style that you want to play, the rhythm.
It's very nearly played into the feet of Enrique. Now Bernardeschi to bring it away at the other end. Orlando have got a man down at the moment. And that pass is errant from the Italian.
Just can't get in the game, Bernardeschi. It's not going his way. So much attention around him, difficult to shake free. It's a mini challenge coming in. Between Long and Rosted, they're always looking to step forward, put a foot in, try and disrupt things. Pasalic, on the wrong end of it.
Well, Toronto on the road again next weekend. They travel to take on FC Cincinnati and the newly arrived Evander. 7:30 Eastern for that one. It's right here, as it always is, on MLS Season Pass. Pereira and this Orlando group know that after tonight, starting the season 2 home games, 4 of the next 5 will be on the road.
Surprised with Cincinnati right now. Philadelphia Union turning them over 3-0. Bradley Carnell, what a start for him. Ty Baribo, hat-trick.
Baribo among the scorers here last week, as Philly came from 1-0 down, opened up a 4-1 lead here. First time an opposition had scored 4 or more since DC United did so in July 2022. Right now, it seems like normal service has been resumed for a team who scored a high of 59 goals last season in their club history in MLS and have been perennial achievers in the Eastern Conference, but really the question with Orlando every year is, have they got the final piece just to get themselves just that one final stage?
You said it before, Tony, a big part of it will be starting the season well. The last 2 years they haven't. They've been playing catch-up.
Yeah, just 1 point from 12 to start last season, but with the likes of Pasalic and Atuesta arriving in the off-season, hope is they can get off to a more consistent start. Here's Angulo from Atuesta, and that's a Hayder's cross. Flores with the block, and it goes. Only the third corner of the game in the 55th minute.
Atuesta, he's looked a lot better tonight as well, looking after the ball, wanting to get on the ball as well. So last week against Philadelphia, looked uncomfortable, gave the ball away in areas you don't often see.
Hayder stands over the corner, 10 minutes into the second half, a 2-goal Orlando lead, and that ricochets off the shins of Osorio, and thankfully for him, straight into the hands of Sean Johnson. You know, thinking back to that Alex Freeman goal tonight, and you think of what his father did, Antonio, playing in the NFL all those years, wide receiver, the long bombs down the post route, some amazing plays, some great plays in his career, and well, Freeman absolutely hit the post route and then cut in and connected with the pass perfectly.
He's going to be such a problem because if you want to get tight to him as a defender, then he's going to run in behind, but then if you sit off, then he's going to be able to get on the ball and have an influence in the game that way. Put in the fact that he's got Pasalic right in front of him as well, who's got so much skill in him that the two of them combined is going to cause headaches for teams down there left-hand side.
Stretching, player who has one Premier League appearance in his career. Spell at Wolves, he spent most of his time out on loan. There's a caution, first of the game.
Oscar
Pereira. A tug back from Santos.
Bernardeschi saying 3 times to Oscar Pereira. The two of them are having a couple words back and forth. Just to cut in Bernardeschi, the pull of the shirt. It's a foul, but one too many times for the referee standpoint.
Right, is this the moment then that TFC get a foothold back in this? Can they exploit the moment of frustration for Rafael Santos and Orlando City?
Orlando quite deep right now. If they're planning on a sprint up right before Bernardeschi hits the ball.
They're all about 12 yards out. Bit of movement from that group as well. That's really deep, and Gillespie is underneath it.
Well, that ball needs to go in along that line that Toronto FC players were lined up. Make it difficult for Gillespie to make a decision whether he comes or stays. In the end, it was easy. Bernardeschi's been peeling more off to this right-hand side.
The newly booked Santos, and that's a burst of pace from the fullback. Those home form was certainly not out of this world last year. 7 wins and 6 defeats, along with 4 draws. They were very good away, as they have been for a couple of years. Ultimately undone at home in the playoffs as well by the MLS Cup-bound New York Red Bulls. about the slower starts they've had in recent years. They won 6 of the last 9 on the way to the playoffs at the end of last year.
They could do it in different ways, and that's what you're starting to see tonight. And now, different players getting on the ball. Their movement in this last phase has been really good.
Santos is moving quickly again. He sets up Ojeda. It's played right between Santos and the arriving Angulo.
They're starting to pull Toronto apart through the middle of the pitch now. Coelho and Flores, there's a lot of ground for them to try and cover. We saw that in spells against DC United. The two of them, they were stretched out a bit, but weren't punished an awful lot. There's Orlando now, they've got the bit between their teeth, they've got the energy, they've got the legs. Those two will start to tire.
We've hit the hour mark. Goals in the 33rd and 35th minutes for this Orlando group. On course for a first win of the season. Next Saturday, they're on the road. Martin Ojeda and co will head to the Big Apple. They'll take on Monza Martinez and New York City FC. 7:30 Eastern for that one. It's live here on MLS Season Pass from Apple TV. New York double coming up for Orlando the next couple of games. They'll play in New York against City, and then they'll nip across to Harrison, New Jersey to take on the New York Red Bulls. And Freeman was through again there, and then Enrique. Freeman still causing a nuisance. They've got the defenders back, and they've got the free kick as well, Toronto. Monlouis went in with the challenge.
Did well, Monlouis, to track Enrique in the end, but just look at Freeman now cutting in. He shows he can do it around the outside. He just coasts right past two Toronto players. He's almost too unselfish there. Could go himself, instead he's trying to slip in Enrique. That will go well with your teammates if you're trying to get them involved, but you didn't need him. He could just go himself. I mean, there's such control about him as well, isn't there, Freeman? When he touches it and goes, it's one thing to be fast and have that out-and-out pace, but when you've got the body balance to go with it and you can start to then slip in between players, he's got the strength. I mean, now it just opens up the game for your team.
Triple substitution coming for TFC.
It needs something, doesn't it? You just don't see where a goal is going to come about, and through the midfield, the legs are starting to tire as well.
Well, they'll have some fresh legs as well with Spicer, the former #1 draft pick. Matty Longstaff coming in as well. And it's going to be a debut for the recent signing, Ola Brynhildsen. But do they have a game still to compete in? Because Ojeda's gone right through the middle. This for the third. Round the keeper. Into the net. 3-0 Orlando. And surely now they're on their way to their first 3 points of the season. Toronto ripped apart, right up the gut.
Such outstanding running from Ojeda, but Toronto just get so expansive between their center backs. Raustedt, he steps in long. He gets pulled too far across with Enrique and Monlouis. He doesn't tuck in, and Ojeda, once he sees that, he's off and running. Straight down the barrel of the gun. He's got the speed to get away, and then that final touch. That's a touch of class. Around Johnson, the control, and then he just squeezes the ball in. What a great solo effort. The recognition of how the game was opening up around them. And then the presence and the thought to go himself. Fantastic.
11th goal in MLS for the Orlando number 10, Martin Ojeda. And it came at a moment where Toronto were poised to make a triple substitution. But the triple substitution will come as the goal count is now triple against TFC. The changes will still be made. Longstaff, Spicer, and there's the debutant Bryn Hilson into the game. And Luis Muriel is going to come on. Pasalic comes out for Orlando. But is the game in the bag with that flurry of changes? We will have to wait and see, but it's a long, long road back now for TFC from here.
Toronto having to try and find the way back and committing numbers forward. The center backs between Long and Mongewi, they just couldn't handle it.
Ojeda's been a great creator in his time in MLS. He's grown into the role in this club as a DP. This is his 3rd season now. He had 9 assists last year. There's no Facundo Torres anymore. He's taking 14 goals out of the team there. Pasalic has come in and shown goal-scoring abilities, and then Ojeda driving straight through the heart of the TFC backline to give them a convincing lead. Is it a decisive one?
For Orlando, it's going to look more like a 4-4-2 now with
following the goal, substitutions occurred.
Enrique.
Number 2,
Up front, he'll be paired with Muriel beside him. Ojeda will go to the far right-hand side of midfield.
Leaving was number 14, Alonso.
Spicer will be up and down with Ojeda down that left-hand side, Longstaff in the middle. There's a bit more quality coming from the central areas for Toronto. And Corbino, it looks as though he's going to be doing the job of right wing back on this near side.
And a confirmed Wingo, Simomancic, Coelho, the 3 players who came out. From rather fluffing their lines here at home. Much better from Oscar Pareja's men. Last week, a week marked by mistakes. He said he didn't need to say too much to the players. He said nobody knew more than themselves what they'd done wrong. He didn't need to hammer the point home to them. But at the same time, he said he's not shirking the blame. It falls with him. If the team makes mistakes, they're his mistakes too. He shares in those.
In terms of getting things right, again, this has been a good game for them in the back four. So they haven't been overly challenged from the centre backs. I know Smith has stepped in for Brekalo, the injured Brekalo. So he wouldn't have had thoughts about a poor performance last week. He wasn't a part of it. So you have that freshness of thought coming in. Freeman the same.
Well, that's a nasty clash, and the referee is immediately going to bring the athletic trainers onto the field. Atuesta, the man who went down, and is quickly up on his feet for Orlando. I think it's Rosted who's down for Toronto, and so they've got the athletic trainer Carmelo Lebu straight onto the field. Just a nasty moment where 2 players moving at great pace, coming together.
the ball had dropped in between the two players. Rosted, a battering centre-back is always going to want to dive in it and go and win it. The ball's there to be won. I'm going to surprise Atuesta a little bit.
Ojeda, one of his 4 goals last season was in Toronto when Orlando avenged TFC's win here with a victory north of the border. Good to see that Rosted's back on his feet and is okay. The athletic trainer Shohei Miyachi is out there for Robin Fraser's men to oversee the defender. He'll just come to the near side. If it is deemed a head injury, he won't be subject to the off-field treatment rule. Pleased to say he looks like he's okay. Atuesta is also going to come off as the clock hits 70 minutes. They will restart with a Toronto free kick. It's Bernardeschi standing over it. It's a good delivery. It comes from the Italian. Deep into the back post. Monlouis, it looked like he was up there. It did go out of play and across the byline. And it will be a corner.
It was well defended by Freeman at the far post.
Atuesta and Rosted back into the game. Both sides back with a full complement. Only a second corner for Toronto. Kevin Long joining Zane Monlouis. They're going to attack this to the near post potentially. Here's the corner. It has in fact swung deep and headed in at the back post. Well, he was off the field and then he was quickly back on, and he may have just got Toronto a foothold back in the game. Sigurd Rosted, his first goal since August 2021, a towering header, and it's 3-1.
Well, he gives his team breath, and it's a great ball, Bernardeschi, as he goes big into that first hit. Watch this leap from Rosted. This jumps so well. He's up early, he backs up, and then he moves on to it. He's got the momentum, and he's got the lift. As Kalese is scrambling across Rosted, it's solid contact from him. It's a good goal. Is it a lifeline? Is there a way back in now?
First goal in Major League Soccer for the 30-year-old Norwegian.
Just needed something, didn't it? Set piece situation. See that ball go in the back of the net. Give that bit of belief. That will lift everybody. You were starting to see prior to that, Tony, just players gesturing to one another that they're unhappy with them. Heads going down, the body language wasn't right. How quickly that can change.
Flores is taken out by Atuesta, and he goes into the book as well. Flores was asking for it, and Oscar Pereira is right out onto the edge of his technical area.
Atuesta just charges through the back as Flores. A little quicker over ground to get there.
So a header for Toronto that just plants a seed of doubt. Still 17 minutes plus stoppage time to play. The question is whether Toronto can really get the nerves tingling and get a second. That last goal for Rosted, August 2021, it was for Bromby. Timely moment for him to hit the back of the net here in Central Florida tonight. Flores, that's Bernardeschi, and Gillespie makes a really critical save as the momentum for the moment swings the way of the team in white.
Well, that's the first time we've seen it tonight where Toronto have a central figure to play into, and at the last second as Brynhildsen comes in. It's the first taste of that combination play of how it could look with Bernardeschi. Quick little set, solid straight from Bernardeschi.
The Matchday Live scores are presented by AT&T. All these games live across MLS Season Pass right now. Columbus with the lead in New England. New York Red Bulls 2-up on Nashville. Philadelphia 3-1 up against Cincinnati. San Jose leading on the road. Here's a cross deep into the box, and Spicer to fetch it. He keeps it. The Trinidadian lays it back, and the shot in from considerable distance, but why not, Rusted? He's put one in right his head.
Anybody has something to say to him, he'll say, well, my name's the one on the score sheet. That'll quickly silence any criticism from his teammates.
Just a note on those scores as well. Pick of the late games comes from Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego. Home debut of San Diego FC against St. Louis tonight, 10:30 Eastern.
Clumsy from Longstaff as Araujo uses his body so well.
Well, final 15 minutes, and the question now whether Toronto can make this a nervous 15 or Orlando going to see this out. Two defensive frailties on show last week. We've seen Orlando themselves in this stadium come from 3-1 down to win a game 4-3 a couple of years ago against Columbus Crew. Tougher task, you sense, for the visitors. Free kick here.
That was a time when Enrique was trying to make his way into the starting 11 for Oscar Pereira. He's certainly done that. He's beaten out McGuire, and Muriel keeping that spot.
Corbeau. Decent ball in. Schlegel's header away. A swarming Ojeda. Tyrese Spicer ultimately penalised. The heat map is presented by IHG, 19 brands, 6,000 destinations. Download the app today. This is Araujo, the holding midfielder. Look at his heat map, box to box in there.
He's going to be integral for everything that Oscar Pereira wants to do in terms of success, especially without Wilder Cartagena. He is going to have a big season. He'll have to do exactly what we've seen tonight. If he can throw in a goal here and there from free kicks, then all the better. But up and down in between the boxes, defensively doing his job, and then on the ball being simple.
The last line of defense is down at the moment. That's Pedro Gallese we saw, who needs some treatment. So Oscar Pereira has only thus far brought on the one substitute in Muriel. There's Dagerdan Thor-Holsen being prepped. A player who had started 40 of the last 46 games in MLS for Orlando. So it's no small task that Alex Freeman got the nod today to play at right back, but my word, it was a good decision.
It'll be tough for Thorolsen because he'll see that position. It's going to have to do a lot. He's going to have a lot go his way in order for him to claim it back.
Looks like Gallese is going to be okay to continue for the time being. Javier Otero is the sub-keeper, Venezuelan international. And here's the Icelandic man, Thor-Holsen. And he's due to replace Martin Ojeda, the man whose goal tonight made it 3-0 and looked like at that point it had wrapped up the game. Ojeda comes out, and this was his star moment.
Just wide open, great recognition from Ojeda to curve his run. He sees that the centre-backs Monlouis and Long have separated. He runs right through the middle, and that final touch to skip round Johnson. It's such a class.
Well, he gets a warm embrace from the coaching staff, and he did from Dagadan Thorholson as well. I think he stretched the 10 seconds probably as far as you can stretch them. He's going to get off. And Thorholson allowed straight in. So we'll see Thorholson on the field with Freeman. Of course, Dagadan in many ways converted to play as a fullback by Oscar Pereira in his time here. Who can play higher up the field. It's nice from Muriel. Enrique. Muriel's kept going through the middle, and here he is. He's got Dagadan to his right in the box. Dagadan Thorholson, what a great goal! What a super piece of football! And with Thorholson's first touches, he puts it away for Orlando. Quite brilliant, and it's 4-1.
That was one of the most difficult things to do in the game when you've been dropped, to come back on when your number is called and make an impression, to make a difference, and he does just that. But it starts with Muriel, just find a little pocket. When he plays that in, it's that second movement. Great recognition from Enrique to play Muriel back in, but then this run from Thorholson and that slip pass from Muriel is clever. Right in behind Rosted, who gets turns. Thorholson, as he comes in behind, he needs that first touch to go his way. Enough space, but then how quickly he gets that final strike in, valuable touch. So well worked.
And I think if you're anybody other than a TFC fan right now, you applaud the football that produced that goal for Dagadan Thorholson.
The movement off the ball was special. Muriel and Thorholson, the timing of it.
Outstanding stuff.
For Orlando City, I want to see more of that from Muriel. He was brought in to be the main man up front. And there you had the taste of how clever he can be on the ball, and when he's getting involved and getting others involved, the difference he can make. It's just for Orlando, you haven't seen enough of it.
Thorholson scored in a 4-0 win here against TFC in July 2023. He scores the fourth tonight in what is now looking like it will be a resounding home victory, and on a night where the man who pinched his spot also scored. Just a little reminder to the head coach, hang on a minute, this is what I can do if I'm on the field. And he was only on the field for 40 seconds before scoring. Angulo now, they're looking for more, and Thorholson's actually taken up a really good spot on the edge of the box. Here's Enrique.
What you saw also from that goal is how vulnerable Toronto can be through the middle of the park. I talked about it earlier in the game. You saw it last week against DC United. A little bit too stretched out at times.
Enrique, advantage play. Thorholson. Atuesta. Santos had made a lovely run from the edge of the box on the left. Didn't pick him out. Here's Thorholson again. On the field. On target. And just really putting to bed any warning signs that TFC might have been putting into the game about a late and dramatic comeback. The swagger is back as Freeman plays the 1-2. It's Alex Freeman. He's already got one. He crosses for Enrique. It's behind him.
Just too high as well. Just needed to be along the surface, along the deck. My goodness, with Freeman. The Rolls Royce. Just purring along the ground.
Well, there were moments in a 4-2 defeat here last week where there was certainly encouragement for Orlando. A week on and we're seeing it. Orbano's foul there on Angulo. Free kick here. Just wonder again, Freeman perhaps could have been a bit more selfish with it. He took it wide in the end and pulled it back, but there was a moment where the shot was on if he went early.
Touch was a little loose. Not as decisive as what you'd like to see him being, a little bit more selfish. I never thought coming to the stadium tonight, Tony, that we'd see a goal from Freeman, Araujo, and Thorolfsson. No. Credit to them. And if Oscar Pereira can have players like that on the periphery, usually in terms of the score sheet, stepping up, then all of a sudden this team has so many different ways to hurt you.
You're almost entirely right. You left out Rosted. I didn't expect to see him score either, but he gets his first goal in MLS, but it looks like being only a consolation for Robin Fraser's men tonight. Final 5 minutes then of regulation time. Tough baptism for the man on the ball a moment or so ago, Brynhildsen. Since he's going to have a key part to play, the 25-year-old Norwegian has 4 caps for his country. Corbano's cross, it's over him. Now Flores steps up, hits it really well! Oh, what a brilliant goal! What a strike! Debbie Flores! He's hit that like an absolute rocket, and it's 4-2.
My goodness, you cannot strike a ball better than this. As soon as he hit it, that ball was whistling. Wonder if the stitching was going to be blown out. Comes in, the control that he shows, but then the power, it keeps picking up pace. Right through the middle of it, Kalese. It comes onto him so quickly, it actually goes slightly under his arm. Surprised at the pace of that ball. What a hit.
Well, we've seen some goals, and we've seen some goals of quality tonight. And all credit, Toronto, having been out of this, they've stepped up and found ways to just not allow Orlando to settle. I sense it's probably too late, but you never know. What a ball in the box for Spicer from Bernardeschi. Now, if he's on the end of that, it's 4-3 with 3 minutes to play. This exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile. Take a look at this. That's Flores. He had the run-up, and then he has lashed that into the corner. And Ross, it's like you say, Gillespie, effectively, he has it covered, but the pace is so quick.
Catches him off, and as his arm goes up, it's not along the ground. It's up and off, and the ball looks to have snuck in underneath it. I think it's going to be real interesting, Tony, to see with Toronto when Brynhildsen gets a run of games, just how it all then shapes up. I think he's such an important piece to how this Toronto FC team will look and where the pieces will fall. And what does that mean for Bernardeschi? What role does he play?
As the goal scorer Flores, on the subject of his goal, his only other goal in MLS was in a 4-3 defeat against Cincinnati last year for Toronto, who did ship goals on regular occasion. They were hit for 4 on the road 3 times in 2024. Columbus, Vancouver, there was a game in Miami, 6 times in total. They conceded 4 times. It's a game that you can never quite take your eyes off. And Flores is still trying to set up a grandstand finale as he looks for Brynhildsen. It's Monlouis. And if you want to see the the magic of this game that we so love. You just look at the last 2 goals we've had. The footballing, passing and moving and multiplayer involvement of Orlando's fourth, and then the pure strike, clean, and the pace and power behind Flores' goal. 2 great goals, but so different in their own way.
Araujo, he'd want to be in that conversation as well.
We've got contenders for goal of the week everywhere. I mean, there's probably 3 there that I could say you could shortlist this week. Good luck to the judges on that. Now off and running Muriel against Monlouis. And the youngster stands up strong against the veteran.
Used his body well there, Monlouis.
Goes up and shows 8 minutes of stoppage time, and those 8 minutes will be well received by the team in white, who will just fancy, well, if they could just find a way to get 1 more, who knows what they could be capable of. Corbeau, the cross to the edge of the box.
Difficult, not the best of crosses from Corbeau. Just wanted to get it in there.
The match momentum is presented by Old Spice, and you can take a look at the way the ebb and flow of this game has gone. The 2 goals in the first half for Orlando, very much in charge. Then it looks like they've taken the game away from TFC, and then look at that big chunk of red where Toronto get themselves back in the game, only to be thwarted by Thor Holson, and then yet again below the line the red chunk marking Flores' goal. Ebb and flow of an MLS game, and what a super game it's been. If you're neutral watching this tonight, Ross, you wouldn't be disappointed by some of the goals we've seen.
Well, and for Toronto, they could easily have let this game get away from them, that they stuck in.
It's well read by Santos. Muriel now. Dagger Dan has made a great run. He was trying to pick him out again. Longstaff with the interception. Monlouis away, and now Corbeau. And for TFC, it's going to have to be pretty quick on the counter as Corbeau sets off against Araujo, and he's taken that too far. It'll be a goal kick.
Just struggled to make a clear decision of how to get through. Joe was looking to put his head down and go, Corbeau, but struggled at times tonight to understand what and when to do certain skills and when to combine.
7 wins in the last 9 meetings for Orlando. This game last year marked by late goals, 87th and 90th minutes, that won it against Oscar Pereira's men for what was at the time John Herdman's TFC. And in some ways we're seeing this playing into what Robin Fraser said to us this week, in that he likes the character and the tenacity of his group, and feels he's got the seeds of something to work with. And if it is to be defeat tonight, well, they can still look back on some aspects of the game and take something away, and that they refuse to completely lie down, but ultimately they've shipped 4 goals and now face up to be a difficult test on the road again next week in Cincinnati. Contesting with Schlegel. To a throw. Here's Flores finding Spicer. Osorio. And he magics something up at this late stage. It's Jonathan Osorio. It's intercepted by Santos. And the fullback bringing it all the way. And look at Enrique to one side, Angulo to the other. Atuesta. Spicer tracking back. Almost halfway through the stoppage time at the end of the 90. Orlando 2 up at half-time. Got a third through Ojeda. Rosted pulled one back to 3-1. Soon became 4-1. Thor Olsen's first 2 touches, 40 seconds after coming into the game, seemed to just completely close the door. And then Flores, who's on the ball now, with a rocket. Just checking the early Orlando celebrations. Atuesta trying to spread it for the run of Thor Olsen.
Thor Olsen, he wasn't happy. It was a moment for him.
2 more subs being lined up. Gustavo Caraballo is set to come into the game. So man who we saw last week as well, get an appearance, Joran Gerbe, draft pick from Clemson. They wait patiently. Orlando, well, just happy to hold on to possession and just see this one through to conclusion with 3 minutes to go. Well, this has been thrilling stuff, and the premiere of Sunday Night Soccer last week was an absolute thriller over on the West Coast. Tomorrow, they're in Texas, Houston, and into Miami. All the action starts with the pre-game from 6. Jake Ziven and Taylor Twellman on the call. Andrew Wiebe on site as well to bring you all the sights and sounds ahead of Houston against Miami, our second offering. Sunday Night Soccer from Apple TV. It's a nice touch that gets Osorio in, and he chips this across goal. The flag is now up.
It's been a difficult one for Osorio to have an influence going forward tonight.
Well, big moment here for Gustavo Caraballo, just 16 years of age. He's the son of a Venezuelan international legend, Gustavo Sr. Been a very, very successful player at academy level. Won the Golden Boot in the Dallas Cup in the 2023 iteration. And Joran Gerbe coming into the game as well. Former national champion, college level, the 27th pick in the draft. A new generation of Caraballos onto the first team field. Youngest player in club history to sign a pro contract is just a 14-year-old Caraballo, so they've got high expectations and hopes for him. He gets some game time in these last seconds as Orlando creep now ever closer to a first win of the season.
Some valuable minutes for the youngsters coming on. A little indication Oscar Pereira feels as though 3 points are there for them.
Spicer.
Haven't quite seen enough from Spicer. That battle with Freeman, Spicer would give him an honest challenge. Freeman hasn't been on the ball enough.
Spicer's got away from his man. This could be the last chance of the game. The cross in, and the header from Brynhildsen just across the face of goal.
That's more like it from Spicer. Good little body swerve.
Bernardeschi then hits one, and Gillespie has to smartly back that one away. And that is the final touch of the game. It's Orlando's first victory of the season. TFC made them think about it at times, but ultimately 3 points go the way of the Lions after some super football, some super goals, and the final score of Orlando 4, Toronto 2. Dejection for TFC, joy for some of those players on that Orlando side. Thor Olsen scoring seconds after coming into the game. Remember, tonight he was omitted from the side because he lost his place to Alex Freeman, who would promptly score his first MLS goal on his first MLS start. Tuesta and co can celebrate 3 points. They conceded 4 here last week. They score 4 tonight. And it's a role reversal of last week's scoreline as they win by 4 goals to 2. This is the player of the match.
Araujo stepping up. Normally known for doing his defensive work and keeping the structure through the midfield, but this was a moment of brilliance. A name we didn't expect to see. Stepping up to it. Gets it just over the wall. It's got the power. And then it just sneaks by Johnson. Glances off the post and in. Spectacular moment. And he is going to be vital for Oscar Pereira. This side of this team are going to succeed and really push on.
Quickly bouncing back to winning ways. A big night for Freeman. Thor Olsen on target as well. Second time in a big win over TFC in his Orlando career. Dagadan. Gillespie had to deal with his fair share of goals as well, though, beaten by a wonderful strike from Debbie Flores. Big moment for young Caraballo, who got some moments at the end. But a little insight into probably what a challenging time TFC have got to come this season. But a glimpse into an exciting future for Orlando City. They've won this by 4 goals to 2, and we'll wrap it up on the other side of this break.
Play for an ultra?
We playing for ultras? Brace you for an ultra?
Put an ultra on it.
What's up, insiders? 88th minute, just went into the 89th minute. Right now, TFC has clawed another one back, but they keep conceding. It's 4-2. This probably won't even make it until the post game, but I just wanted to say thank you for hanging out with us. Now let's get behind TFC. Go TFC, go, let's go. Let's build an awesome community here, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are here, share this link out. Let's get more soccer fans, more TFC fans here in the chat, hanging out with us every single TFC game. Let's go.
Taking more time off. Or putting more time in. They could mean more peace and quiet, or more fun and games. Ideas you can drive, or that drive you. From settling in,
what's up, insiders? Post game. Just ran it back, that little clip there during the end of the game. There's a shot from TFC. Oh, man. Almost. I think he might have been offside, too. Doesn't matter. Also, you know what? There were bright spots tonight. TFC. What's up, insiders? Post game. Just ran it back, that little clip there during the end of the game. There's a shot from TFC. Oh, man. Almost. I think he might have been offside, too. Doesn't matter. Also, you know what? There were bright spots tonight. TFC fans, there were bright spots for sure. It's 4-2 right now. There's about a minute and a half of stoppage time left. I'm going to shoot this over to the post game because I don't know how much post game will run on this feed that I have. So we'll see. I just wanted to say thank you and cheers. TSI insiders, SO peeps. Big shout out. It all started on Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central back in 2018. Really, our first podcast episode was the preview of the CONCACAF Champions League final against Chivas. Brings back bad memories. We're living through a little bit of trouble right now, TFC fans. That's okay. Make sure to go check out Toronto Till I Die on YouTube. Their coverage of the team is awesome. I will also make a post as soon as this is done to send you to the TFC season preview with Jeffrey P. Nesker of Toronto Till I Die. Go TFC, go. We'll see you in the chat in the next game. Thank you for helping me build this awesome community. We'll see you in the chat.
Rise this really well at the back stick, and all of a sudden Toronto, they felt as though there was life in them. That 3-1. They were starting to show that fighting spirit we saw last week at DC United, but then Muriel changed things with his combination play, dropping deep, picks it up again, but watch this movement from Thorolfsson. Comes off the bench, he just slips in behind Rosted. When he gets there, it's a neat little touch to take him away, but then quickly has the finishing touch right before the challenge comes in. That 4-1, it was game and buried, or at least you thought, because Flores, I mean, we saw some spectacular goals tonight. I think this is the pick of the lot. As it comes out, the control that he shows, striking right through the middle of the ball. That ball was whistling past Gillespie. Gillespie's got to look through a few bodies, and he gets across, but it's underneath him. The last second, that ball just dips. A wonderful hit. That was it in the end.
Spectacular stuff. Ultimately in vain for TFC, go down by 4-2. This, have a look at the stats. They had more of the ball in the end of the night, and actually they won the shot count by 10-9. 4 shots on target for Orlando, 4 goals. We've heard that before in the last week. The XG count actually quite low for a 6-goal game, 1.78 to 0.54. And only 4 corners in the game, which might sum up that low number. But the only number, the scoreline of 4-2, and the 3 points in the bag for Orlando City tonight on a special night. Alex Freeman, the goal on his first start. And despite Toronto's best efforts, they could not find a way back. 4-2 is how it's finished. More in a couple of minutes.
And when you're with Amex Platinum, you never miss the next big moment. That's the powerful backing of American Express.
Jameson, a famously smooth whiskey from a famously big family. So big that Jose here could be one of us. You see, he's nearly as smooth as our whiskey. For him, wrong turns usually turn out all right. Even when he shows up uninvited, he's never empty-handed. And he only ever drinks smooth Jameson whiskey. Surely he must be part of the family. Must be a Jameson.
What's on your mind, Dion?
A sensitive skin. And how Old Spice Total Body isn't on it.
Gabby, is there anything you want to share?
Not this Old Spice deodorant. It's 24/7 freshness. It can go everywhere.
Everywhere.
In 64, when everyone else tried to win on the straights, we won on the corners. Bending. Swerving. Blowing the bloody doors off. Floor it to your local mini dealer for unrivaled offers today.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can explore the neighborhood or live like a local. Unplug for the day or plunge into a long weekend. With IHG's 19 hotel brands, you can guest.
Welcome back to Inter & Co Stadium on a night where Orlando have beaten Toronto by 4-2, a week after losing 4-2 against the Philadelphia Union in their season opener. So they bounced back to winning form very impressively against their Canadian opposition tonight. And they've done so by scoring some fine goals as well this evening. Dead ball situations, flowing football, we saw it all from them.
Araujo's going to be going in that locker room going forward saying, I'm on free kicks from now on going forward. And going forward, this man was spectacular. Freeman caused all kinds of problems along the Toronto backline, whether it was going around the outside or cutting in. But then the moving off the ball for Orlando was spectacular as well. Ojeda, just a massive gap opens up. You could have driven a truck through there. Toronto defense, and Ojeda, he flies through and has that finishing touch. All different ways that Orlando were opening up Toronto, 4 different ways. Muriel coming onto the pitch, combining with Enrique, and a lovely run from Thorolfsson just in behind. One touch to prep, the other touch to tuck it away. 4 great goals, 4 different goals.
Yeah, when you see them together like that, what a wonderful sequence of goals tonight from Orlando, and the shot chart showing you the XG chances as well, as Orlando score 4 on a night where they had 9 shots. A very special goal, though, of course, was scored by Alex Freeman, his first MLS start, his first MLS goal, and he spoke to us a few moments ago.
Alex, you scored your first MLS goal tonight. What was that moment like?
I mean, what can I say? It's a dream come true. I mean, I've been waiting for this moment. I feel like preseason, I feel like I was playing good, it was coming. And then the first goal, I mean, what can I say? I mean, when I scored, I want to do another celebration. It just came to mind. I just ran. That's all I could think of. So it means good to do that to the fans and also contribute to the win. So.
Your parents were in the building tonight. What does it mean to you to score in front of them?
I mean, it means the world, man. They're always so busy. So whenever they come, I always try to, let them know, come to the games, come support. And to be able to score in front of them and play a full 90, it means a lot. And I know they're very proud of me, too.
How important was it for the team to get this win tonight and bounce back?
Oh, really important. I think this year, Oscar was wanting us to start strong. And now that we're starting strong, especially with this win bounce back, we just got to be prepared for the next away game against NYCFC next weekend and get another win and start off strong again.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Alex Freeman talking to us after scoring his first MLS goal